Hey, Mike, just talk about the win. You guys obviously come out, up 3-0 in the first half. Just talk about the effort from your guys.
First, I just want to say, and I need you guys to include this in whatever you're writing. I need to give a big thank you to our academy, Martin Vasquez, who is somewhat of a mentor at times to me, and somebody who gives it to me straight, and his academy team. We had them in on Friday of last week, and we showed them a short film of how New England plays. And we had an inter-squad scrimmage, and they mimicked exactly what we saw tonight. They mimicked exactly what we had to expect, and they did it unbelievably. So they're a big reason why we got this result tonight. And I needed to share that. I needed to point that out. I needed to applaud Martin and his whole staff and the academy players. So thank you, guys. Having said the game, listen, after our last game, the players know this. I'm a coach that doesn't look past the next game and hardly ever to the team looks back on the previous game. But that game stung. That game stung because it's not indicative of who we are as a team. It just was a strange scenario on a night. And I took full blame for that, and I'll always do that. So it was important to have a response tonight, and these guys responded. We sat them down and made them watch pretty much that entire game, and they saw it with their own eyes. My staff and I took a long, hard look at each other and in the mirror, and we held our hands up, and we knew that certain things that perhaps we didn't do right leading up to that game. So point is, it was important for them to come out tonight and start with the right tempo, the energy, the game plan we had. So I'm proud of these guys. It was, it was the type of effort that we need, because when you put the effort in, quality is going to come out, and then it's a match of quality for another team, and I feel we have just as much, if not more, quality than any team in this league. Well, first with the lineup, I'm sure that raised a couple of eyebrows, some of the selection. I'm sure whatever it's called, the soapbox or the oracle, whatever the heck they call it, we're probably saying, this and that and this. We had 3 players coming back from international duty that flew from as far as Qatar, as Joao did. And we had 2 suspensions in Nick and Kyle and Sonny. The pairings that I put out there were twofold. First, all of them had experience in this league except for Natum. All of them has played a significant amount of time in this league for me this year and last year. So there was no concern with having to bring these guys on. I knew they were hungry. The pairing of Marcelo and Natum, we knew we were facing a team that was extremely athletic, extremely strong, extremely fast and aggressive, and you look at those two, that's a big part of their game. So overall, these guys stepped up tonight for us, and now it's all about Sunday.
Coach, in the 4th minute, Beasler came out and scored a goal. How did that set the tone for the rest of the game?
Of course, anytime you score early like that on a great transition goal from one end to the other, it sets a tone. And when we came in at halftime after that goal and the next 2, what was written on the board was 0-0, because it didn't matter what happened. Nick's goal was unbelievable for him to run that long and the great transition and getting almost full field, and then the next 2 goals that came. But at halftime, it was 0-0, so great goal from Nick, great goal in the first half, but for me, what won this game was our dedication, our discipline, and playing out of certain things and playing to the game plan that we put out over the last week.
With the 3 guys that you had out because of international duty, they were on the lineup as subs. How much did how well you guys played the first half kind of allow you not to think about using them?
Of course, and it's not even the scoreline. It was the Corey and Bofo and Luis putting that effort in, getting back into a block, playing both ways, not just one way in the attack. Understanding that this is a team that can really exploit you in transition, and they got back and they put the work in. And as long as I saw that, there was not going to be a change made as far as those 3 guys coming on. I didn't want to put them in a situation of maybe getting an injury because they traveled and played over the last week. And these guys, like I said, these guys earned the right to start this game of the work they've done over the last 7 days.
Does it give you any feeling that, like, maybe for the next game you might think of keeping some of those guys in the lineup because they played so well tonight?
Until I sign the roster 90 minutes before kickoff, which I'm required to do, I'm always thinking about making adjustments and changing things. I have a pretty good understanding of who's going to play in the Portland game, if not almost a full understanding, but just 2 days can change my mind.
Homegrowns have been a staple of the lineup throughout the year, but what has this group done so special to get them on the precipice of the playoffs?
Part of the reason why I took this job, and I have to say it again, I've said it a couple times because I have to remind people, I didn't take this job just to take a job. I had some other opportunities. It needed to be the right thing for me. And coming from my former job to a situation like this where I had to develop players, I had to have young players, I had the option to have young players from an academies that are here. It intrigued me, and it was something that I was extremely excited about. The lessons that they've learned since I've been here, from Justin to now Aaron this year, Brooks last year and this year, Danny Acosta, all these guys, it's valuable experience. So I feel tonight, somebody said it before, I don't like to single out individuals, but Brooks Lennon and Aaron Herrera tonight were freaking men. That's what they were. They were absolutely freaking men tonight, not 21-year-old kids that are learning. And to me, as a coach, to see the result that we got, and a big reason is because of that, it's a prideful thing. So I love this setup. I love that we have Martine, who are churning out this unbelievable talent from a young age that I have the option to bring on and to help get experience, and that could hopefully pay dividends one day. And tonight it paid dividends.
Mike, how much did it mean to you to give this home crowd a win? Final regular season game at the Riot.
Again, I could go back to, I don't like to look in the past, but last week stung. The only other moment that I've had since I've been here that hurt as much as that was the LAFC game, the first game here this year. So it was extremely important. And the fans came out on a Thursday night and pushed us and motivated us. So first it's for the organization and the fans, and then we take whatever's left to be happy about. But for them, it's all for them all the time. Them and the owner, Mr. Hansen, and this organization. So it was important for us to do this. And now next week, the destiny is in our hands still, and we'll see what happens.
With only 2 days before the game in Portland, how does that maybe change just the way you would manage getting guys ready for the game? Is there anything different?
Well, yeah. I mean, the next 2 days are not about on the field, even though we will be on the field. It's all about talking them into the game, start preparing mentally, making sure these guys bounce back physically. And I don't think there needs to be much motivation to these guys. They understand it's the last game of the season, and we have a great opportunity ahead of us.
Luke, I think he got engaged a few days ago. He's coming back from, I think, back surgery in May. He's in the lineup tonight. He plays 90 minutes. How impactful was he for you? And yeah,
he was huge tonight, and Luke has been out for so long, but he's always been around. He's been in the locker room every day, and he's a big piece of the personality of this team. And even though he had a long road to recovery, throughout that long road, he was always a presence, always talking to people, always being around, always being that team player. And yeah, I have already congratulated him, but officially, publicly, I'll congratulate him on his engagement. So it was unbelievable to see Luke in this situation. And Luke, being the wise ass that he is, the last thing he said to me before we walked on the field was, "Don't worry, Gaffer, we got this." And he gave me a little wink like he does, something along those lines. And that's a credit to Luke, to have that road to recovery, being out for so long, and come on and play a big part of a result like this.